Welcome, welcome. This is Marnie. Excited to have you with us. We're going to be talking about Start Little and Dreaming Big with Linette Rainville. That's the name of her new book, Start Little and Dream Big. We're going to be talking about reasons we say no to God, including fear, border bullies, and friendly fire, and what to do instead, why we can trust God with even the smallest of beginnings, how to think about messy middles, elongated gestation periods, and hard labors, the power of a clear vision, the beauty of taking inventory, and ways God may use history as flowed through your life to inspire and help others. Our guest today is Linette Rainville. She's a warm-hearted, endeared speaker who helps women build projects and ministries from the ground up. She's the founder of Daughters Unlimited or Daughters United, a global networking and equipping ministry for women. Her new book, Start Little Dream Big, is just out and you want to grab your copy today. You can also find out more about her over at LinetteRainville.com and invite her to speak via womenspeakers.com. Excited to have you here. Welcome, Linette.
Ooh, Marnie. Oh, it is such a joy always to be with you. We just have such similar hearts for women, and like we were
Right.
just praying, equipping them for what God's called them to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. We've done some mentor to mentor conversations here on live. You have a large group that you're mentoring. And of course, that's my heart too, is to help you guys really identify what God's vision is for you and then to fully step into it from your true identity in Christ, to not be trying to make it like somebody else's or whatever, but that you just get right in there with Jesus and go forward. So we are going to dive right in. There's when God puts, I'm just going to speak from personal experience here. When God puts a big new vision on my heart, my first response is usually not, oh, yay, because typically it's so big that it is intimidating. It's usually bigger than something I could do myself. It's something that I wasn't thinking of a minute ago.
Mhm.
And now it's right here in my head. And I know that it's God calling. But I think a lot of times when that happens to us, our first reaction is, no, thank you. I love my life. I'm already pretty busy, pretty, I have a lot of, balls up in the air. And so I think I'll pass on this one. Linette, for you, when you get a new vision from God, typically what is your first reaction?
Usually like, really, God?
I know. Exactly.
Is that
Serious?
you?
Do you want to just make sure this is you?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll just give a real quick, for instance, in 22, um, I was right in the middle of doing all these interviews for a conference, and I had
Yeah.
like them all lined up. It was like a crazy summer, and there was the shooting here in Buffalo, the Tops massacre, and I was just ripped inside for what happened, and the Lord just gave me, he usually speaks to me in a vision, so I get this like 30-second or 10-second,
Yeah.
movie
Glimpse of
reel,
something.
and
Yeah.
I just saw people praying at
Mm.
all these different grocery store locations because it happened at a local grocery store chain here. And oh my goodness, Marnie, it was just so intense. And
Mm.
so I called my friend who knows a lot of people in the area. I said, I just saw this vision. I don't know about it. He goes, oh my goodness, I know the owner of the grocery store. So it was like everything got in motion. And
Yeah.
literally, like a month later, all this, like, it just came together. And the Lord gave me the
Mm.
wherewithal to do what I had to do in that moment. Yeah, was it crazy busy? But it was so amazingly, people are still talking about that. It was so
Mm.
special. The whole city came together, like the whole
Mhm.
area. So don't be afraid of your God-sized vision,
Yeah.
and just talk to that person that God puts in your heart to say, because you can't do it Lone Ranger style. That is like, don't do that. Just a mentor or someone
Yeah.
that you trust and love, because it could be a now moment. Like that was a now thing. It had to
Yeah.
happen now. And but sometimes it's a back burner. You're building, you're planning. The Lord's, like we're talking about some things. Like, there's things that we need to plan and get God's wisdom, and God will show us the next step.
Yeah. There's so many reasons we would say no in that moment. I think all of them will boil down to either A, you're not sure it's God asking you. And that's the first thing to get very clear about. Is this really God asking you? But the second one is really doubt. We have some doubts about God that get in our way there. You have some words. You say fear, border bullies, and friendly fire.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Those border bullies are those guys that get in our head all the time. And I don't care if you're brand new to ministry or to what you're called to do, or if you've been doing it your whole life. Those guys get in there. When I getting ready to launch this guy, you know, those border bullies hit me too. So it's like imposter syndrome, perfection prison, fear of failure. They just can keep you hostage.
Mhm.
And, if God said, then you're going to be able to do it. And then the other thing, I listened to this quote today, this devotional, and I said, oh, this is so good. I have to write it down because I think it'll come up in our conversation. And I think it's perfect here. Your healed pain will break someone else's chains. Isn't
Mm,
that beautiful?
it
Like
is.
when the enemy tries to get at you, like you're not
Yep,
enough, who do you think you
right.
are? Like all of those lies, you tell him, I was made, and the scripture comes from Matthew
Right,
5:16. I was made to shine the light, be a
right.
light for Jesus. And where
Mhm,
have you been hiding your light? In the other place, like I do say, the friendly fire is those well-meaning people in your life. They
mhm.
love you, but they just don't get it. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
just don't get it, or they don't see the vision like you see it, because no one else will see the vision like you because God gave it to
Mhm,
you.
right.
So, just keep your nose clean, do the very next thing that God
Yes.
told you to do. Like a soldier, we are soldiers on assignment for Jesus.
Mhm. Right, right. And I think one of the kind of on the other side, sometimes the vision comes big and you're like, "Whoa, too big for me." And the other side of it is sometimes it sneaks in kind of as the smallest thing, the
Hmm.
smallest yes to God. And those are also so critically important.
Yeah, absolutely. I was recovering from my hip surgery last summer, and the Lord was just giving me a bunch of vision, and I was just in my quiet time with him, and he just dropped this nugget in my heart. He goes, "You need to build small to grow great." And I had to sit with that for a minute. It's like, Lord, what is that? And it was these small, intentional conversations, relationship building. We're missing that in women's ministry, I believe. Like people are so crazy busy, and I hate that word. I really do. um, but it's like the small thing we do, just a little text message or a little voice memo to somebody, a little prayer. You
Mm.
don't know what those little things, how it could change someone's day. It could change even what they're thinking about to do for God in their calling, their mission, their assignment. It could be that God wink that they needed that day. Like we said, God, is this really you? That confirmation. So
Yeah.
you never know what the little thing can do. It has, there's a key, a very tiny key can open a very big door.
Yeah.
So again, don't despise the small beginnings. Don't pushe that, like, just like it's big, it's important in God's economy. It all is. But yeah, that whole thing with building small to grow great, it's
Yeah.
still like just so like echoing in my heart, Marnie. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I love it. Do not despise the small beginnings, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it is in the small things, learning to say yes in the small things, learning to
Yeah.
listen, to know God's voice in the small things, that allow us to say yes when we get to the big ones because we're so sure it's his voice. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I know this is God. I've been listening and hearing from God for a long time. So I think that it's so important that we embrace the small asks as much as we do the big ones
Mhm.
and go forward with God. I love how you talk. You want us to think about messy middles, elongated gestation periods, hard labors. All of those things are part of starting and growing a ministry.
Totally. Yeah. We sometimes, we're in this instant Burger King society where it's like, have it your way and have it now and have it quick. And the bigger the structure, the deeper the foundation needs to
Yeah.
be. And I always talk about the Chinese bamboo that, it grows underground silently up to 5 years before you see the growth. And in one season, it can grow up to 80 feet. That's crazy to me to understand. And I had bamboo in my yard, and once it takes off, it is like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't stop it. And but that's sometimes what God is doing. There's a quote in here by Pastor Alan Jackson that hopefully I don't mess it up, that God loves you too much to give you something you're not ready for. It's something along those lines. And it's true. Like, we are being prepared in those gestation periods and those hard labors. Boy, this was hard labor. When you're doing something you've never done before, it's hard labor. But boy, like, even doing this book project, I'm learning so, so much. And it's not just for me. I know I'm going to help somebody else with it. And it does get long in the middle. Like, you're in the messy middle. I remember when we were growing the outreach center, and there was just so many things. Our food pantry was growing. The clothing project was really taking off. I didn't have enough volunteers. And it was like, Lord, some days it was like so hard.
Right.
And the Lord just kept saying, it is worth it. And I remember this one time we also did these special projects. We had giving trees, and we did a backpack project. Every year we'd have people who adopted families and people who would sign up. And there was this family of 8 kids, and they all got brand new backpacks, brand new shoes, outfits that year. And it was one of those intense moments of my season. And I remember going in there. It was in the old time when you had the tape recorder voice message.
Yeah.
So I played it. And there was this mama who came on, and she started saying, my kids have never gotten brand new shoes like this before. And all the kids were saying, thank you. And then she started crying on that recording. I bawled, and then I kept it. I didn't erase it, because anytime I had a hard moment, I played that and knew that it was for those circumstances, for people like that we were doing the hard work. So it is the messy middle. But when we relinquish all of our messiness to God, He will show us the beauty in that, and He will give us the passion and that holy ache to continue going.
It is so much like the process of having a baby.
Yeah.
It is like you just are doing a book launch right now, new book. I always say a new book is just very similar to having a baby. You have the whole long process of writing it and getting it published. And then you have the final push, the labor and the delivery out. It goes into the world. And then you've got the care of this newborn book for quite a long time. And then finally it kind of gets a little bit legs of its own and you move on to something else. But ministry is like that too. After the ministry, the birthing of the ministry may take quite a long time for it to be all the gestation, all that you think about, all the things that have to happen in order to launch it. And then you got that launch that usually is a little bit kind of shocking or disappointing for most people. Honestly, a lot of launches do not go smoothly. A lot of launches are like a labor and delivery in which, maybe the baby's breech, or, there can be things that happen during that launch. I can't tell you how many guests I've had on this show over the many years we've been doing this who had a launch going on just like yours. And for some reason, the website went down, or the books didn't get out, or whatever. And we had the interview, but no book, no way to buy the book, whatever. I mean, I've seen it happen so many times. A lot of times, even the launch itself can go not like what you expected. And then sometimes after that baby's born, some of them are colicky, and some of them, I mean, there's easy babies and then there's hard babies, and
Yeah,
you love them and you do whatever God asks you to do, but really ministries are a lot like that, and you don't actually get to pick some of these things.
right.
Some of these things God is just orchestrating, and you get to walk it out no matter what the situation. But it is a lot like this. Any other thoughts before we move on here? Because this is so important for you guys to understand. It's not just, you have the idea, you do it, boom, it's done. It's not like that.
Yeah, I think the other bully is the comparison trap.
Mhm.
Cannot look to the left or the right of who else is building something else. You've been called to your own work,
Yeah.
your own lane, and your gestation period is different. Like, okay, puppies, it takes what about 2 months for their gestation period,
Right.
and an elephant is 2 years.
Yep.
So, what you might be carrying an elephant size thing
Right.
that God needs that time to develop it in you and to grow you and to align. It's not only us, he's aligning other people
Exactly.
in our lives, right?
Yeah.
So just don't compare and just do the very again, I just like we got to keep it simple. When I was getting ready for this launch, oh Marnie, every day it was like, I just saw the mountain of things that I had to do. And I just said, okay, Father, just tell me what's on my list today. Just write it down for me because show me what the next best step is. I do talk about that in the book. What is your next best thing? And we just need, and it'll be so sweet. It'll just be
Yeah.
an impression. It'll be a thought. It'll be an email. It'll be something that gets you going in that direction. But stay focused. Just have your list. Like I'm a list girl,
Yeah.
and I said, Lord, highlight the next thing. Just highlight the next thing to me.
That's just it. That's just it. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path.
Mm,
And that indicates that it isn't a spotlight or a helicopter light showing everything all at once. It is just enough for the next few steps. And that's what we really need to have.
mhm,
Let's talk about vision. if we get if we get this wrong, it's really a mess. Something just happened to me that I can't get specific about.
mm,
But we ended up really praying, like almost warfare prayer, and God did not come through. And
mhm,
we found out afterwards that we were praying for something that, if it would have happened, would have been terrible,
mm,
absolutely terrible. If God would have just answered our prayer without engaging his brain, I don't know if God has a brain, but whatever that big, massive thought is up there, it would have been awful. We would have really hurt people. We would have been in legal trouble. I mean, it was really, our prayer was all wrong.
mhm,
And God was silent during our praying, and we were doing warfare praying, and it was crazy. And looking back, I'm just so grateful that he didn't just do it because we asked.
mhm,
We
mhm.
have to have the right vision. It has to be aligned with God's purposes in order for him to bless it. And so, yeah, talk about the clear vision part.
Yeah, I love there's a song which you probably know, Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. And I talk about that because when I got this big vision, I thought, oh my goodness, I had the vision of a storehouse from floor to ceiling, shelves and stuff loaded and all the provision for people in need, right? And I thought, oh, God gave me the vision. It's going to happen like that. Like we prayed for this one property and we thought it was it. It was perfect and it didn't happen. And, I know now God was saving us because it would have been a mess. Like you're saying, we
Yeah.
were not ready. There's so many lessons we'd had to learn along the way. And, it's so much better to take things slower and to when God gives you that clarity, that's what we need because it's like a dog on the bone when we finally did get the location that we were supposed to be in and it's still in operation today. It's a flagship location, 4,000 square foot facility, and it was an empty, dusty, musty warehouse when we first saw it, but we were praying. a bunch of us and our pastors did a prayer circle. We were praying there, and the Lord just gave me this whole vision right there of what it was going to be. Like, I didn't see the dirty, musty walls. I saw it
Yeah.
all done, and I
Yeah.
saw people. And that's what you need. That's when you need the vision. So we can think up, we're smart, especially if you're creative. If you're creative, we in our own strength, we can think up a whole bunch of things. And it could, and I've seen this happen to my dear sisters sometimes. They're like, oh, it's like squirrel. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And yeah, we can, that will happen. But then you have to sit back with it and say, okay, God, what is really you? Send confirmation. So I have a checklist in the book of, is this really you? Did you really say this? So it's really important that our vision comes from him and not from our own imagination, because we can think of a bunch of different things to do, but what is that now assignment? I talk about the now assignment, right? Because it could be so many things that we want to do or we have a heart to do, but it's really alignment and the assignment. Is it the timing? And are the other pieces in place for it to have a healthy birth?
I always say that I believe when we get to heaven, the thing that will surprise us the most about the hard things in our life was that most of it was about timing. Yeah, because we don't see that. We see, okay, we get the vision, and then it's like, okay, let's go. And God's like, yeah, well, we've got some work to do here before you get all the way there. Or sometimes it comes very quickly, but just being on track with him and holding it with an open hand, the timing of it, how it's all going to, even how it looks in the end. I mean, how many of us have envisioned what our baby might look like? We see another baby. Oh, my baby will look like that, and then our baby just looks like our baby. It looks totally different from any other baby we've ever seen. It's a baby, but it doesn't look like any other baby. It's our baby. And that's how this process is. So the vision has to come in order for us to get going, to get on track with God. And then we just have to keep asking, is this you? Is this what you want me to do next? And you talk about taking inventory too, that there's some help there. So maybe just spend a moment on that.
Yeah. So after you get the vision and you're writing it down, you start thinking. So I'm a list maker and a packer. It's like if you're going to make a recipe, you sit down and you say, okay, what are the ingredients that I'm going to need for this recipe, right? And that will really help you with the last conversation we just had about the clear vision, right? It's like we got to think about all the ingredients that it's going to take for this to be successful God's way, right?
Yeah.
So, you look at the things and like, what do I have in order to start this big vision? So that's where I started. And I always talk about it. It's like we had, an old minivan. We had a little bit of storage room. We had an old copy machine that was donated. And what could I do with those ingredients? Kind of like the show Chopped, where you get a basket and you're like, okay, what am I going to do with this, right? And so you look at your life. And, one of my precious clients, she is an abortion recovery coach. And I loved the day we had a breakthrough, because I had her do this assignment. It's like, well, look through back the highs and lows of your life, the exercises in the book too. And what has God brought you through? And those are all like experiences that you bring to the table, because she's like, I don't have anything, like I just feel like I'm not equipped. And then after she got done with the exercise, she was like, oh my goodness, I have so many things. I am equipped, like God did equip me. So that's taking inventory of our history for his story, right? We're going to talk about that. And in those very things are the things God will use in your life. Again, your pain helps to break others' chains, which I just love that. Can you just see
Yeah.
the visual of that, right?
Mhm.
And that's what we're doing. Look at what you do have. So if you don't have XYZ yet, okay, we didn't have a facility yet. We didn't have all the things yet. I didn't have volunteers. I had my kids, like, right, and they were little. They helped me put stamps on envelopes. So what do you have? What can you do with what is right in front of you? And I kind of do a nod to the widow's oil in this in the book, and I just love it. What did she have in the house? The prophet
Yeah.
asked her, and so yeah, very cool.
Yeah. We're coming down on time here, and we want to talk about God's story through your life history. It's his story being flowed through your life to inspire others. And he may be choosing you to lead a ministry, to lead some kind of a project that will bring glory to him, that will delight you, because that's how he created you, to be able to do this, to lead this. But just talk about for a moment, just God's story.
Yeah, before you were even born, when he was forming and shaping you in your mother's womb, he knew what you were going to have to face. He knew maybe the hard start that you had. Like me, I had a hard start in life. It doesn't mean you're going to finish that way, but he uses those things, those very things. Or maybe it was because of something someone did to you or your own decisions. But now you've come on the other side of that. Now, all of those things that you've experienced and you've been through, you've lived through, and you're now saying, Lord, use it. That's his story. He knew, you didn't surprise God. He knew what was going to happen, but he's so thrilled and he loves you so much. And he's so excited for you to now be a light to others, to be a help to others. So that's his story. He knew that, I know when I had my back surgery, and I've had too many, I was recovering. I was reading this devotional about this hurricane that came, and there was this big tree that was there. And the people, the family, they were able to get on their roof, and there was a flood. Maybe it was a hurricane, a flood, and basically it was so bad that they had to cling to the tree because their house was flooded, and they had to be there for a while. And the Lord just dropped this in my spirit, and he goes, don't you know that I knew that they would need that tree?
Right.
All long ago. And don't you know that I knew that you would need that surgeon to help you? And I trained him and equipped him all long ago. And
Wow.
it was just it was like this, oh Lord, that's really deep,
That is really deep.
Yeah.
That's like 50, 70 years ago, I started working on this for him.
And so
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
us too. God's been
It is.
working on us so that we can be
Love that.
someone else's salvation tree in a sense, right? We could be
Yeah.
their high tower, their person that they can come for shelter.
Comes
And
along.
because just like Jesus is, right, he calls us to be that on the earth, his representatives on the earth. So yeah.
Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Well, I know you and I, we could just talk forever.
Mhm.
And this has been so much fun. You guys want to check out Linette's website over at linetterrainville.com. She's also available to speak for your groups at womenspeakers.com. And for sure, go grab a copy of her new book, Start Little, Dream Big, just out. You can get it at Amazon or any major bookseller. Linette, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And my website is not revised yet, so you want to go to startlittledreambig.com.
Okay.
Startlittledreambig.com for now.
All right. Thanks, my dear. Thanks, you guys, for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.